Hello everyone, welcome to my channel SW Metro official channel.
Christine Brown has never been one to hold back her feelings, and in the latest shocking turn of the sister wives saga, she dropped a truth bomb that has left fans reeling and once again questioning everything Kody Brown has ever said about the family's controversial relocation from Las Vegas to Flagstaff, Arizona. For years, the narrative around that move has been fuzzy, riddled with half-explanations and shifting justifications, but Christine's new claim adds an entirely new layer of scandal. She alleges that Kody lied about the Raiders football team relocating to Las Vegas as part of his justification for uprooting 4 households, dozens of children, and an entire family system to the unfamiliar terrain of Flagstaff. According to Christine, Kody concocted the Raiders' excuse because he needed a dramatic external reason to mask what was really going on in his mind, which was his desire for more control, his mounting discontent with the family's independence in Las Vegas, and his desperation to keep the sister wives reliant on him. The idea that a massive NFL franchise moving to town could destabilize their lives sounded believable enough when Kody first floated it, at least to some, but Christine is now insisting it was smoke and mirrors all along. Fans will remember the way Kody often framed the Las Vegas homes as symbols of the family's disunity, complaining that cul-de-sac life gave the wives too much independence and not enough collective bonding. While he frequently hinted at financial struggles, taxes, or even Flagstaff's supposed cooler climate as reasons for leaving, the Raiders' narrative was particularly eyebrow-raising, because he argued that the arrival of the football team would lead to higher taxes, more tourism, and an environment that wasn't good for raising their children. Christine is now saying none of that was truly on Kody's mind. He simply wanted out of Las Vegas, and rather than admit that it was about him and his own control issues, he leaned on the Raiders' storyline to sell the move to the wives. In her version of events, the decision wasn't made in good faith but rather in a cloud of manipulation and half-truths, which makes the fallout from their Flagstaff era all the more tragic. After all, fans watched as the family sank money into the Coyote Pass property that still sits undeveloped, as marriages crumbled one by one, and as Kody spiraled deeper into paranoia and alienation from his children. Christine's accusation raises painful questions. If Kody lied about the Raiders, what else did he lie about? Did the wives ever truly have a say, or was the move doomed from the start because it was rooted in deception? Christine has hinted that when she first heard the Raiders' excuse, she rolled her eyes but didn't fight back too hard because she was already disengaged from Kody emotionally and had started envisioning her own life without him. But she admits that for Mary, Janelle, and Robin, the lie cut deeper, because they invested in the move financially, emotionally, and spiritually, thinking it was necessary for the family's well-being. Imagine the betrayal of believing that you're uprooting your teenagers, leaving behind strong school systems, and abandoning stable jobs for the supposed good of the collective, only to find out later that the very premise of the sacrifice was built on a falsehood. Christine's confession also puts Robin in the hot seat, because for years she defended Kody's reasoning and went along with his explanations, sometimes even repeating the Raiders' narrative on camera. Was Robin truly convinced by Kody's story, or was she in on the lie to help him steer the family toward Flagstaff, where he could create a setup that favored her household? Critics argue that Robin benefited the most from the Arizona move, given that her children were younger and less entrenched in Las Vegas life, and that she seemed far more willing to isolate from the other wives in the wide-open expanses of Flagstaff. This fuels the suspicion that the Raiders' excuse wasn't just Kody's idea, but a carefully crafted piece of spin to move the entire family closer to a lifestyle that revolved around Robin and her children. Christine's words hit especially hard because they align with what many fans already suspected, that the family didn't really need to leave Las Vegas, that the cul-de-sac was working just fine, and that if not for Kody's restless discontent, they could have built deeper roots there. Instead, the Arizona move fractured everything. Kids were forced to leave behind friends and activities, college-aged children were left without stability, and wives like Janelle found themselves stretched thinner than ever financially. Christine's claim that Kody lied about the Raiders is a metaphor for the entire collapse of the Brown family, one man's unwillingness to be honest setting off a chain reaction of distrust, bitterness, and eventual divorce. For fans, this revelation is vindicating, because so many questioned the flimsy justifications Kody trotted out over the years. They remember his dramatic speeches about the dangers of Las Vegas, his warnings about the so-called Vegas lifestyle, and his insistence that the move to Flagstaff was necessary for the family's safety and morality. Christine's perspective flips all of that on its head, painting Kody not as a worried father but as a manipulative husband trying to keep control of a family dynamic slipping through his fingers. What's more, the Raiders' excuse is so specific, so unusual, that it feels almost comical in hindsight. How many families in America decide to move states because a football team is relocating nearby? It was always a stretch, but Christine claims Kody's forceful delivery made it hard to question him in the moment without sparking a blow-up. Now that she's free from him and happily married to David Woolley, Christine says she has the clarity to look back and see how much of Kody's leadership was built on half-truths and outright lies. Her fans have praised her for speaking out, for refusing to let Kody control the narrative anymore, and for exposing how shallow his reasoning really was. Meanwhile, Kody hasn't directly addressed Christine's allegation yet, but if history is any guide, he'll likely double down, deflect, or accuse Christine of rewriting history to make herself look better. Still, the damage is done. The Raiders' lie has entered sister wives' lore as yet another example of how Kody's decisions destabilized the family, not because of outside forces, but because of his inability to be transparent and humble. Christine's bombshell also reframes the pain her children went through, especially Isabel and Truly, who endured the Flagstaff move at pivotal moments in their development. Fans can't help but wonder, if Kody had been honest, if he had admitted he simply wanted to leave Las Vegas for his own reasons, would the wives have resisted harder? Would they have refused to sell their Vegas homes, which were finally building equity, and stayed put? Would the marriages have survived longer? The what-ifs are endless, but what's clear is that Christine's voice has given fans permission to question everything about the Brown family timeline. In the end, Christine's claim that Kody lied about the Raiders isn't just a small detail, it's a symbol of the deception that ran underneath the entire Sister Wives experiment. It shows how fragile the foundation really was, how quickly things could collapse when one man's story didn't match reality, and how damaging dishonesty can be when layered on top of already complicated plural marriage dynamics. The irony is that today, the Raiders are thriving in Las Vegas, the very city Kody said was no longer suitable for his family, while the Browns are scattered, divided, and broken, trying to rebuild their lives separately after years of turmoil. Christine, in contrast, is thriving. Her willingness to tell the truth, no matter how messy, has made her a fan favorite and cemented her place as the wife who ultimately had the courage to walk away from Kody's lies and build something authentic. Kody Brown's purported dream of placing his family's rental properties on Coyote Pass into a trust for his children. However, from the vantage point of hindsight and through the courageous clarity of Christine's departure, this foundational justification has been exposed as what she unequivocally claims it was, a lie. Christine's assertion that Kody lied about the Raiders to justify the Arizona move is not merely an accusation about a past event, it is the key that unlocks the true story of the family's disintegration, revealing a move motivated not by unity or legacy, but by the impulsive whims of one man and the unspoken agenda of a favored wife, ultimately serving as the catalyst for the polygamous family's spectacular unraveling. To understand the weight of Christine's accusation, one must first revisit the official story sold to the family and the audience. After the cataclysmic legal and spiritual decoupling from his first wife, Mary, and the subsequent legal marriage to Robin, Kody began to grow restless in the Las Vegas cul-de-sac he had once championed as the family's forever home. The homes were nearly paid off, the children were settled in schools, and a semblance of stability, hard-won after the upheaval of leaving Utah, had been achieved. Then, Kody introduced the idea of moving to Flagstaff, Arizona. His primary, repeated, and emotionally charged justification was the impending relocation of the Oakland Raiders to Las Vegas. He painted a picture of soaring crime rates, plummeting property values, and a general descent into urban chaos that would supposedly follow the football team. The solution? A frantic, desperate race to sell their 4 homes and flee to the rustic, safe haven of Flagstaff. This narrative was always flimsy. Las Vegas is a city built on transient entertainment. The addition of another sports team was unlikely to be the apocalyptic event Kody described. Yet, he sold it with such conviction that it became the engine of the move, creating a manufactured crisis that demanded immediate, unquestioning action. Christine's revelation, spoken from the emancipated perspective of having left the family, shatters this narrative completely. Her claim is that the raiders' story was a pretext, a dramatic fabrication designed to create urgency and panic where none naturally existed. It was a sales tactic, and an effective one, used to override the logical objections and deep-seated anxieties of his other wives, particularly Christine herself, who was vehemently opposed to leaving Las Vegas. This accusation gains immense credibility when viewed alongside the other, quieter motivators that were at play. The most significant of these was Robyn's desire to follow her son, Dayton, who had been accepted to a university in Flagstaff. While Kody was loudly prophesying doom about the raiders, Robyn was quietly scouting properties in Arizona. The synchrony is too perfect to be coincidental. Kody's stated motive was a public, generalized threat. Robyn's unstated motive was a private, specific pull. Christine's accusation implies that Kody, whether consciously or subconsciously, prioritized Robyn's desire over the stability and happiness of the entire family, and concocted a larger, more persuasive